Yeah, Mark, my final comment would be, we've always said that financing and equity is the oxygen of business. So groups like yours are extremely important to us as we try to breathe life back into, as many companies in the state that have been negatively impacted as possible. So investing is a noble profession, and we respect and acknowledge that in Ohio.
Well, and the other part is you're a provider of capital too, so you do your own underwriting, so you can be looked upon as a co-investment partner.
Exactly.
Well, let's move on then to Jonathan, if you don't mind, to kick off some of these restarts that are happening in Ohio.
Yep, thanks, Mark. So kind of to transition from Andrew's more holistic focus on Ohio, I'm going to take a little bit more of a look at just particularly the automotive industry and try to set the stage for what we're looking at as traditional manufacturing and what we see as the future of manufacturing around the automotive space, which includes R&D and electrification. So just to set the stage on the automotive industry, Ohio has benefited from its location strategically as the automotive industry has particularly surrounded, as you have manufacturing states that will source product, particularly out of Ohio, setting up one operation, be able to spoke and wheel componentry out of Ohio into various locations. So from the state particularly, you can reach 77% of the North American automotive production within a 1 day's drive, which is about 600 miles. So that really sets the stage for understanding how the automotive industry has expanded and grown within Ohio. Here you'll see a couple key highlights. I just want to talk real quick about a couple. First being that the number of vehicles produced in Ohio, approximately 1.1 million, which is the fourth largest in North America. That's a strong number, but that's not our bread and butter. We really focus on being the producers of componentry that supplement and supply throughout the space. So you see we're the number one producer of engines in North America. We're the number two producer of transmissions in North America. And again, that really focuses on the traditional manufacturing base that has been the bread and butter. But again, you can see that those that are familiar with the industry, that the transition of the automotive environment is progressing from engines and transmissions into a different type of propulsion, which we'll allude to a little bit later, and we'll allow Steve from Lordstown Motors to talk about. But again, 10% of all tier one suppliers in the automotive space feed their customers out of Ohio. So again, when we talk about how COVID has impacted our particular state, particularly around this particular industry, it was something that was problematic to say the least, but is also has moved beginning to transition into a restart as we move forward. Next slide, please. So again, the dichotomy between traditional manufacturing and new manufacturing, the state of Ohio has positioned itself not only as a traditional manufacturer because of its proximity within the automotive ecosystem, but also as a hub for research and development innovation. And to highlight a couple of those, we talk about design, test, and deploy out of the state of Ohio. All of these functions have come into play as the state has become, I guess, a familiar safe haven for investment in those particular areas. To highlight just a couple of those, we have our Transportation Research Center, which is the largest independent automotive proving ground in North America. It also has what we call a Smart Mobility Advanced Research Center, SMART Center for Autonomous and Connected Testing, a brand new investment into that center that is providing capabilities for research and development and is an attraction piece for companies globally. And in addition to that particular entity at the Transportation Research Center, we have the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA's Vehicle Research and Test Center, which is the only federal vehicle test laboratory in the nation. And they conduct their vehicle testing at this facility because of their mission to save lives, prevent injuries, and reduce traffic and related health concerns around the automotive space. So again, as you think about how the automotive industry has been impacted by the changes in mobility and smart and connectivity, Ohio has been positioned and is growing in both of those. So again, we've seen ourselves blossoming, if you will, on both sides. But with COVID, we had a sudden departure from our current growth. I'm going to ask you just to skip through because I know we're running a little behind on time, and maybe get to that last slide. Thank you. So one of the things also I'd like to highlight as we transition to more of the restart activity is, as you can see at the top left circle, is the Transportation Research Center, which is, again, R&D, testing, NHTSA, and then you have the Smart 33 corridor, which is lined with 35 miles of fiber optic cables and DSRC centering, where we have provided an environment for testing and research to continue. So again, the dichotomy between traditional manufacturing that has grown and blossomed, and now the new automotive research and development, connected and vehicle infrastructure technology that is beginning to be the bread and butter of the industry.